All right, Shalom. I'm Zahab of the GMS Mississippi camp, giving our honor and glory to Yahweh by Shemi Hawashai. I also want to give double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone rule well, and I want to say peace and blessing, salutation to the elect. All right, today I want to go into a brief topic, which is probably going to be an introduction to something bigger, but it's basically going to be entitled, Is Only Suffering if you look at it from a Western standpoint, or a Western viewpoint, because the lifestyle that some brothers might have to embrace is basically the lifestyle of that which you lived in the ancient world anyway, man. All right? Because one of the reasons why we're in slavery is that we depend on this system to survive. So a lot of Israelites argue that we're not in slavery because they think that we're not picking cotton. That's great. But who do you go to for survival? It says in Deuteronomy 28 that you'll go to your enemies for want and hunger of all things, man. All right? So I'm just going to get a real quick point. Sirach 38:25. How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow and that glorieth in the gold, that driveth oxen and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of bullocks? He giveth his mind to make furrows, and is diligent to give the kind fodder, which he's feeding his cattle. So every carpenter and workmaster, they laboreth night and day, and they cut and grave seals, and are diligent to make great variety. All right, because you have carpenters. Yahweh Shai and his father were carpenters. All right. So they built houses. Those are lucrative business, man. And give themselves to counterfeit imagery and watch to finish a work. The smith also sitting by the anvil, that's where you burn your iron. All right. And considering the iron work, the vapor of the fire wasted his flesh, and he fighteth with the heat of the furnace. The noise of the hammer and the anvil is ever in his ears, and his eyes look still upon the pattern of the thing that he maketh. He set his mind to finish his work and watch it to polish it perfectly. Because going back to the 25th verse, how can a farmer farm if he doesn't have tools to farm? A plow, a shovel, a hoe. All right. What is he going to attach to his ox? How is he going to get that? He's going to get that through the smith, because the smith is going to make the tools for the farmer to farm and for the carpenter to do his work. See, everything benefits each other. Okay. Verse 29. So doth the potter sing at his work and turning the wheel about with his feet, who is able carefully set at his work. And he maketh all the work by number. Wait a minute. If we had to live in our own land or go back to Jerusalem and we just totally detach ourselves from the Babylonian system, literally, how you going to eat and drink? That's where the potter comes in, man. You see? See, all things have their uses, man. The Most High already gave the structure. All right? This is what it means. This is what it means to function as a nation, man. All right? You can't be halfway there. We can't build this in Babylon. But I'm just giving the illustration of how we function. Because, if your lights go out in America, a lot of brothers panic. Because we've been dependent. I got the wrong potter. It's a lot, brothers. We've been dependent on this system for survival. But it's only a form of suffering if you have a Western viewpoint. I lost my job. My lights went out. I couldn't pay my light bill. Use a candle. We didn't have we didn't have artificial fire from this electromagnetic grid in the ancient world. All right. But going back to the pottery, as mentioned in Sirach, the 38th chapter. All right, Sirach. As mentioned in Sirach, the 38th chapter. All right. So doth the potter sitting at his work and turning the wheel about with his feet. And you see that here, you see. But guess what? When you farm and you get the grains, how are you going to beat the grains into certain powders? How are you going to turn butter? What are you going to do it with? Even with oils, and you have to extract the seeds from the oils, you're going to need some kind of pestle and mortar, which is in the scriptures, which is part of our culture. Who's going to make that pestle and mortar? All right, the potter. You see, this is part of our culture. This is part of our heritage. This is what we use to survive as a self-sufficient nation, as a sovereign nation, man. All right. You don't need Esau's system, man. Esau have you think this way is the third world country way. No, this way is the live past 90 way. You're not drinking out of a styrofoam cup, man. You're not eating out of a paper plate, man. All right. This is the way. This is our heritage, man. Right now, pottery is like a collection. But in your own self-sufficient land is totally detached from the Babylonian system. A potter is a necessity, and he'll be very well off, man. All right. So doth the potter sitting at his work and turning the wheel about with his feet was always carefully set at his work and maketh all his work by number. He fashioned the clay with his arm and bowed down his strength before his feet. He applied himself to lead it over, and he is diligent to make clean the furnace, because he has to clean the furnace that he refines his pottery with. All right. He'll make the pottery, glaze it with some what you call glaze, and put it in a kiln or a furnace, and it'll come out all shiny and glazed like. All these trusted their hands, and everyone is wise in his work. But this is the point. Without these cannot a city be inhabited, and they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down. But it didn't say without McDonald's shall a nation be inhabited. It didn't say without clocking in at work shall a nation be inhabited. This is how you sustain yourself as a nation on the physical level, man. All right, and let's just get an example. Let's get an example of a nation or a group of people that survive basically outside of the American system, man. You see, these are people, it's certain sects that do, but it's a lot of sects of Amish that they 100% don't depend on Esau, man. You see, they 100% don't depend on Esau, you know, but they use his biblical structure, man. They don't even have some he's not using a tractor. All right, he's not using so-called electricity. This is made by their own people, man. I'm quite sure they have certain parts of, you know, Esau's grid, like certain tools they may use, but this is all man-built, man. This is what it means in Sirach, where it says he uses the gold. I think that's how you call it, a gold. See if I can get that word again. I'm just giving brothers an illustration of what it means to function as a self-sufficient nation, man. And even though you don't quit your job and start farming, you might want to pick up certain things that'll help you, because in the times to come, once the grid go out, what are you going to do? Yeah, the Most High going to allow us to live, but it did say we're going to live as pilgrims. So basically, you have to adopt an Eastern mindset to help you deal with this circumstance, man, that we're going into, man. All right. Let me see. It said that glorieth in the gold and driveth the oxen. So let's see what that gold is and driving the oxen is, man. All right. Gold, oxen. This is the way. But what is he doing with the gold and the oxen? He's cultivating the land. He's tilling the land. To do what? To produce crops. Crops of what? To sustain a nation. This is the gold right here, by the way. And he's used that to drive the oxen to make the oxen go. But when the oxen go, they have the plow attached to the oxen. So when the oxen move forward, the land is being plowed, man. All right. That's the gold. You see? You don't need Esau. You don't need Esau to survive as a nation of people, man. We've been pulling it off for millennials, man. Millennials. All right. Millenniums, excuse me. That's driving the gold, man. But in essence, they're tilling the land with that system, man. But it also said in Sirach, without these shall not a nation be inhabited, man. All right. So we already have that system set up, man. All right. Let me see if I can get another scripture. See, go back to search. I think it's the mighty, man. So you other components that make our nation, you see. I believe it's in Isaiah. Just bear with me, brothers, because, you know, I'm sort of going off the spirit. Isaiah, I believe it's 3. He's going to take away the mighty man. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Isaiah 3:1. For behold, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, don't take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread and the whole stay of water, the mighty man and the man of war. Yeah, he took our military from us. So we don't have, if we did this today and we did like IUIC, get some type of land and try to make some community in America, how will you protect it? You saw what happened to Black Wall Street. The mighty man and the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent. So who's going to deal with our affairs? So we had our own nation. That's who's going to implement and judge the citizens of Israel by the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, the judge. Okay. It says, and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient. You're the elders of our nation, man. The captain of 50 and an honorable man, the counselor and the cunning artificer and the eloquent orator. All right. So, that's the point. Those are some other elements of our nation that have been taken away from us. But that's what it means to function as a nation of people, man. You see? That's what that means, man. You see, that's some important stuff to know. We don't need Esau. We didn't need Esau, man. Other countries, they outlive Americans. They surpass Esau. This is the way walk you in it, man. You shouldn't equate food to going through a drive-through. Like, no, we had hunters, we had farmers, we had fishermen. Peter was a fisherman. All right. I think it was was it James and Andrew? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're a fisherman. I could go back into it. You see? This is the way walk ye in it. They're not just doing this for a hobby. They're sustaining themselves as a nation of people, man. They're sustaining themselves as a nation of people, man. Yeah, this is a little tractor right there. But what about this, man? And they reproduce, they regenerate, so the system works. But you have to have a system to do it by. So you had on the basic level, you had the agriculture, the farmers, you had the carpenters, the artificers, and you had the potters. But then to run that society, to run that system, you had judges, all right, and elders to implement the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High to judge everyday affairs, man. Well, with that, I hope you brothers are edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.